Oh, we're live. Hey, everybody. So I'm in a different room today. Well, technically it's the same room. We've just switched it around, things we do in lockdown, really, to try and keep it entertaining. But hello to everybody who is joining. I know some people joining a little bit later. And obviously it's quite a warm day today. So don't worry if you are wanting to catch the rays outside. I'm going to forgive you for this once, but remember you can watch the feed again later, which I'll post on. So don't worry if suddenly you feel like you need to get some freckles on you or whatever. Go outside, it's okay. But you can just have us in the background, actually. The joys of Wi-Fi, really. You can go out in the garden. But yeah, I just want to say hello to everybody. I don't know, you may have catched us, that's wrong English. You may have caught us before, but if not, this is the 7th installment of Virtual Coffee and Chat with me, Anna. I've not got coffee today because I'm way too hot, so I've got water. I promise it's water in here. Oh, Jane Foster is watching from the garden. Oh, maybe I'll do a broadcast from out there. I mean, I might not be able to see anything, but that's giving me an idea. And I won't be drinking Pimm's like I would like to in the garden right now. But anyway, so yeah, this is basically a session for you guys. It's where we kind of give you updates about what the Children's Society are doing, how we're working with young people and children, and just a general chat with some different guests. So kind of keep your suggestions coming in on who you'd like to hear from, what you want to know, but also more importantly, just generally how you're getting on. Lockdown's a bit of a weird situation. No one's been in it before. So we are really interested to see and hear, more likely, how you just guys are adapting, getting along, where you're watching us in the world from. That'd be really, really good to kind of get to know you guys a little bit more. So welcome to everybody. Please keep sending in, let us know where you are. And so whether you work for the Children's Society, are a supporter, work for another charity, or just stumbled upon us, welcome. So I just want to mention that last week I talked about more ways you guys can get involved. We now have 2 different opportunities. One is the Community Awareness Network, and one is the Campaigns Champions. I will post some links later on about how you can get involved. But the Community Awareness Network is about helping us alert as many people as possible to some of the potential signs of child exploitation. And it plays a really, really important part in keeping children and young people safe. So as lockdown continues, there is a growing concern for kind of more young people that are basically at risk. So we need more people like you to look closer, really, and spot the signs. And this is what the network will empower you to do. The Campaign Champions program is perfect for people who want to improve their lives of children in their local areas through political action. So I will post the link later on, but someone might be actually watching who can post the links in the group, but I will definitely be sharing about that later. So to the theme of today. So some of you may be aware, but this week is Mental Health Awareness Week. Every day of the week should be about putting your own mental health as a priority. But this week is a chance for the UK to really focus on mental health. And this year's specific focus is kindness. So if you feel it may not be like the most comfortable topic to join in with because of other reasons, then please be kind to yourself and take a break from the screen. But if you do need some extra support, we do have a mental health first aider who will be monitoring the comments just in case. So I kind of want to share a quote from the Mental Health Foundation on the reason they chose kindness. We have chosen kindness because of its singular ability to unlock our shared humanity. Kindness strengthens relationships, develops community, and deepens solidarity. It is a cornerstone of our individual and collective mental health. Wisdom from every culture across history recognizes that kindness is something all human beings need to experience and practice to be fully alive. So now more than ever, it's important to focus on the power and potential of kindness, as this will really be central for us to cope with any after effects of COVID-19. I don't know about you, but I'm trying to be more kinder to myself. I'm my own worst critic. Sometimes I even almost bully myself, really. But living through this pandemic has almost forced me to recognize the kindness I can show myself. I was actually told on Monday that I need to accept kindness more. Someone close to me gave a compliment, and I immediately thought he was being sarcastic. So I know I compare myself to others, and I have really quite an unbelievable amount of self-doubt. So that makes me automatically pessimist when someone's kind to me. I know after this, I will need to sit down, distract myself, step away from everything, because I'll overthink and I won't be kind to myself. But I've just done this virtual chat. I will instead be quite horrible to myself and pull myself down about it. So today, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to go and sit in the garden, and I'm going to make myself a treat, because that's what I need to do, be kind to myself. So kindness can be anything from making a cup of tea, sending them a funny meme, telling them that they've done a great job, really. So I really, really want you guys to kind of share a bit more about moments of kindness you've seen, experienced, or done. Let's shout about it a little bit more. So I really want to see in the comments anybody who has been kind to themselves, if you've recognized that someone's been kind to someone else, or that you know you've been kind to someone else, no matter how small, please. So please do continue sharing, so we can kind of create this sense of belonging more and this community, which is what this is all about. We may not be able to see each other physically, but we can be with each other by sharing kindness. So I will stop talking about myself, and instead I want to talk about our next guest. So the Children's Society runs services across the country for young people who are really, really in need of mental health support. One of those services is Beam Sandwell, which is an incredible drop-in service supporting young people, their families, friends and carers by providing help, support, advice and guidance to young people. So I'm lucky enough to have a bit of time with our next guest, who is David, who is the service manager there. Like magic.
Hello.
So this is David or Dave. Which one do you prefer?
It depends if you're telling me off. If you're telling me off, it's David. If you're being friendly, it's Dave.
Okay, so guys who work at TCS, you now know which name to use depending what you want, which is perfect. So how are you today then?
Well, we've been asking that question to young people and to the people I work with loads, and lots of times we kind of maybe do it with a how you feeling between 1 and 10. But that's got a bit boring after a few days. So the other day I asked my team how they were feeling on a scale of Monday to Saturday, with Saturday being really, really good and Monday not feeling great. So today I'm feeling Thursday. So generally positive, quite exciting that I'm doing this. And the sun's shining. So I'm Thursday today. What about you?
I really like that. Do you know what? I'm going to say Wednesday's always a tough day because I feel like it's in the middle of the week. So you're trying to still complete things, you're trying to work out, but then I get to have a break, which is doing this. So it kind of breaks up the week. But like you said, sun's shining, so I'm having barbecue today. So I'm going to say a Thursday too.
Fantastic. Okay. Happy Thursday this Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm actually going to bring that to my team now and say that instead. I think that's a really, really cool idea. Guys, comment and say what day of the week you are actually. I like that more. Yeah. Okay, so, handily, you've got Beam behind you, the social media. Can you tell us a bit more about Beam? Because I see in the bio, it talks not only about supporting the person, but the people around them, which I think is really, really important, and there's not enough support for the support network. So what do you guys do at Beam?
What do we do? Well, I'm going to tell you the story of it because it's one of my favourite stories to tell, and it's a privilege to be involved in Beam. So about 4 years ago, a group of young people who had been through mental health services and had various experiences in these mental health services were consulted about how they might want a new expression of service for young people to look like. And they said, we want a drop-in service. We don't want our support to be constrained by appointment times. Because you can imagine, if you're feeling anxious, for example, and you want to talk about your anxiety, if you've got an appointment coming up in 3 weeks' time on Thursday at 4 o'clock, coming up towards that appointment on Thursday at 4 o'clock, how do you feel? You feel anxious? You feel, oh, not sure. And when it gets there, your anxiety might be so high, you actually don't want to go to the appointment. So you DNA, you do not attend. And if that happens a couple of times, you might get taken off the list for support. And the young people who were consulted said, actually, we want a place that we can go to talk when we want to. If we don't want to come and talk on a Thursday, come the Friday, come the next day. So that was one thing they wanted. They also wanted the staff who work there to be kind of therapeutic staff. You know, they recognise that there's a definite place for those clinical skills, but also to be staffed with youth workers, people who were kind of experts on building relationships with young people. And the young people said they wanted a mix of those skills and abilities, really. And they didn't want a reception desk when they came in. They wanted to be greeted in a really warm way. And this is a long way of saying that these young people were listened to. And the Children's Society's first mental health drop-in started in Birmingham. It's called Pause. It's amazing. It's open 7 days a week. And then about a year after that opened, that was 2016. In 2017, Sandwell was the next expression of mental health drop-ins. And I'm really, really pleased to manage this service.
Well, that sounds amazing, because I know that from experience, I've had counselling sessions, I've had therapy sessions, and it is always that when you know that you have an appointment later on, and you may be feeling absolutely okay on that day, but however, on the Monday before the appointment, that might be your really, really bad day. So who do you talk to? So I think that's a really, really great experience that should be really shouted out about too. Not just for young people, but for the people, like you said, that are kind of not knowing how to deal and how to support that young person. I just want to say that we've had a few comments which are incredible. So Carrie has said she took a few minutes to slowly enjoy the ritual of making a cup of tea. That's actually really nice. Actually, my housemate said that yesterday, that she actually she made me a lovely cup of tea. Thanks, Jen. She's next to me. She can hear me. But she actually said, I actually just took some time to brew it. Whereas normally when I've been at work, I think I have to get straight back to my desk. Good point, Carrie. And also, I think your kids are actually watching it downstairs and say, hello, Daddy.
Hello, Harry. Hello, Leo. And hello, Laurie.
Perfect. Got the whole family watching. That's great.
Cool.
So just love a cup of tea. I'm just thinking about a cup of tea. So what are you kind of seeing young people coming in about more often than not? I mean, obviously things are a little bit different at the moment, but what do you think young people are really, really experiencing at the moment?
Well, kind of pre-COVID, the most common things that we were seeing in our drop-ins were anxiety, depression and low mood, family difficulties, and a lot of anger. There were a lot of anger issues. We're still seeing fairly similar come through now during this lockdown time. But if anything, I think anxiety has increased. I actually heard something on the news or on the radio or something it was actually about adults, but this news reporter said that they think that 50% of adults in the UK are experiencing some kind of anxiety at the moment. And I think that's to be expected, especially with young people as well, because I think it's just so uncertain. I spoke to a mum this morning whose child might be going back to school next week, but might not be. And is it going to be safe? And there's this overarching uncertainty, which me, my family, my friends, but also the young people I'm working with and my staff are all feeling together. And it's a really interesting time, but it's really difficult. But I saw that you could ask me that question. I thought, well, that's the thing that's increased. It's that anxiety, because people don't know what life's going to be like, kind of post-COVID, or So
I think that's really it's a really strange thing. Like I've mentioned, I was diagnosed with anxiety quite a long time ago, and I make a joke with my friends. So I'm like, it's almost like my whole life has led me up to this moment, because now I feel, oh, well, my whole life I'm really, really worried about things outside of my control. So it's almost like that now I'm supporting other people in techniques that I've learnt to deal with my anxiety. Yeah, so it's really, really interesting because you're seeing a lot more people become a lot more aware of their own mental health at the moment. But I'm personally trying to reduce the amount I hear about COVID-19 because it is changing every single day. So I know that otherwise I'll get fixated and focus too much on things outside of my control. So I know that that's my thing I need to do. And it's also recognizing myself that I'm going to have good days and then I'm going to have really bad days where I don't really know what the triggers are, but I know that I'm feeling a bit down about it. So how are young people really managing at the moment if the whole routine has been disrupted? And also, I think the most important thing is if they're alone, like if they're an only child and being separated from that support network at school, that may be able to pick up on when they're feeling down.
Yeah, well, I think young people are experiencing this much the same as adults. That there's a whole range of how people are coping. It's interesting, actually. I was talking to one of my neighbours, and I said, "Oh, it must be really hard for teenagers." This is when lockdown just first happened, because I remember when I was a teenager, if I couldn't go out and see my friends and do that stuff, I'd be climbing the walls. But interestingly, he said he's got a he's not a teenager, but he's got a son, kind of early 20s. He said actually he thinks young people are better prepared for this than us adults are because they're so tech savvy and social media savvy. And when lockdown happened, I had to learn how to use Microsoft Teams and Zoom and video calls, and I can kind of do it now. But it was kind of that, oh my gosh, I really have to learn how to communicate because otherwise I'm not going to be able to work or kind of survive in this thing. But actually, I think young people were perhaps better equipped than we are. Obviously, that's not across the board, but that's quite a general thing. But coming back to you saying that maybe the only children or what have you, one thing that has been a negative of lockdown is mental health and especially anxiety. It's it's perpetuated by loneliness. When we have our drop-ins open, when lockdown isn't happening, so many young people feel so much better by actually just by coming to our drop-ins, and we normalise the fact that having issues is okay. Someone comes and says, I'm feeling really low. We go, yeah, do you know what? Look around you. There's 3 or 4 people in here as well, also getting support. You're not the only one. You're not on your own. But when we're stuck in our houses, we can definitely feel like we're the only ones. And this is where, talking about mental health in young people, you can't talk about it without talking about social media, because what people do on social media generally is display their best life. And if that's the things you're seeing, and that's, in lockdown, that's pretty much the only interaction you're having with a lot of people. Everyone's got it sorted. That perpetuates your own kind of low mood or your own anxieties. And a lot of young people we've been speaking to over these last weeks have said, I feel like everyone else is getting on with their schoolwork and I'm behind, which is probably a complete load of rubbish. But that's what they're assuming from what they see or what people choose to show them on social media.
Yeah, I think that is the case. Like, I know that I've actually had to put a timer on my social media account. So I only allowed, it sounds like a lot, but I'm only allowed like 30 minutes on Instagram. And then my phone alerts, because I know that even though I know everybody else is in lockdown, I'm still comparing myself to, oh, well, they've made this, they've been able to do this, they're really happy. And I know, like you said, it's not true. Like, everyone is struggling to cope at the moment, whether it's just one day or whether it's a week. They're still having troubles because no one knows how this is going to work out. No one knows. But like you said, which I want to kind of talk about a little bit more, is that actually young people are finding this experience kind of not easy for them, but they're able to adapt a bit more. So I actually was reading through the blogs that you guys post. So we will post it out later, but Beam have kind of a blog on our website, and they share some great things. So I just want to show, hopefully it can come up on the screen. There you go. It's a poem from a 10-year-old I should have written it down so I can read it, but there you go. It's on the screen. I will post a link to it later. But I thought it was just really, really beautiful how a 10-year-old, she's written a poem all about like what lockdown has taught her to appreciate more and stuff like that. And I just thought it was quite amazing, really. You've already said that you are noticing that young people may be a bit more able to adapt. Is there anything else that you've been hearing about young people that you kind of want to shout about right now?
I wasn't ready for that question. About young people, I think we are on social media, Beamar, and we kind of see things that certain schools or things that we're following are doing. Do you know, one just come to mind actually, and it's there's a fantastic school in Rowley Regis in Black Country where we are in Sandwell. It's called St Michael's, and their kind of student participation is just phenomenal. I'm big fans of them, and I saw that I think it's a young lad who's campaigning and getting petition signed to send to Boris to get a national NHS day. You know, we're all kind of going out on our Thursdays and we're clapping and all that stuff because we appreciate the NHS so much at the moment. And I just thought, what a great idea. So St Michael's in Rowley Regis. I don't know the guy's name, but they're really good on social media as well. So find them, follow them. It's Student Voice at St Michael's or something is the student social media. But I saw that and I was like, good for you, mate. That's fantastic. Let's get our national NHS day.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it is amazing that that young people are just they're showing kindness to other people. Like I've seen it on the news where I think it was this young boy who had access to a 3D machine, like 3D printer machine, and was able to print a load of safety products almost for his nan who was in a care home. And then he was able to get help along the way to deliver it safely to them. And it's just like little things like that, power of kindness. But a lot of times I think younger people are less frightened to show kindness. That's what I've noticed a little bit. Like I always feel that we sometimes feel a bit weird if we sometimes give a compliment because we're just like, no, it's just a compliment, just being nice to you. Whereas young people are like, I love your skirt, and you're like, thank you. Nice thing you've ever said.
I wear nice skirts as well.
Definitely on Zoom as well.
You know what, mate? You said that reminded me of a story that I was thinking about telling later on anyway, but you've got it spot on there. So kindness sometimes as adults, it can feel weird and it shouldn't do. So I was in TK Maxx in Maryhill a couple of months ago, and I saw a gift box of like Reese's Pieces or Reese's chocolate, the peanut chocolate. I don't like it very much. But I knew that one of my best friend's wives really loves this chocolate, like it's her favourite chocolate. And I was like, oh, maybe I should buy it for her. Then of course we get that adult brain going, that's a bit weird. That's your mate's wife. And in that moment, I thought, do you know what? Kindness trumps weirdness. It is a bit weird. And so I bought it and I dropped it round and I told my wife and she thought I was a loony. But actually, kindness trumps weirdness. So maybe us adults need to just ignore the weirdness and just be kind because, if someone did that to me and bought me something that I loved, whoever it was, I'd feel special. I'd feel valued. I'd feel thought about. And that's what kindness does.
I think that's really important. It sounds a bit weird, but if someone I've not spoken to them for a few days, and someone sees a funny photo or a funny video and they just send it to me and they're like, oh, I thought of you. I'm like, that's so nice. Thank you. It's like little things like that, and it's to some people that they might find that a little bit weird because they're like, why are you thinking of me when you've seen a funny dog? Well, I love it. People who know me know that the only way to make me happy is to show me silly dogs, so it's fine.
When people think about you, it's brilliant, especially during these times when people might feel forgotten about. So one of the things we did when lockdown happened is that we made a round of phone calls with young people that we know use us quite a lot, almost as routine. I don't use it as routine, but they access Beam quite a lot. And we just give them a ring and said, we're offering this new phone support service now. This is how you access it. And pretty much every call we made, whether it was to a young person or a parent, they were so grateful to still feel valued. Like, lockdowns happened and the world's gone mad, but Sandwell Beam and the people there, they still care. We're still there for you in a different way. We still care. And I speak to a lot of parents on the phone. My staff tend to do a lot of the work with the young people, and the parents are so grateful for just some contact. I spoke to a mum yesterday, a single mum, 4 kids, and because of her own health issues, she can't go out of the house and hasn't been physically out of the house in 10 weeks, apart from going to the bin. And Joe, just having me ring, I felt like she could have talked to me for ages. And just valuing people in this time is so important.
I think I was actually going to ask you about that phone service. I mean, I normally don't like video calls or anything like that, and even I know a lot of people who don't like that, but they know the importance of just ringing up somebody and just having a chat, like you said, especially people who have not been able to have that tiny little conversation with someone in a supermarket or something like that it can mean the world of difference. So with your phone service, is that people can ring up you guys? Is there a certain routine, or they have to have seen you before? What is it about?
So anyone in our criteria, so anyone between 5 and 18 in Sandwell can access us, or up to 25 if they're care leavers. We chose not to have a kind of a one phone number that people could call, because it might get clogged up very easily, might get engaged. So the way that young people can access us, and we've promoted this through all the schools and GPs and what have you, is there's an email. It's askbeam@children'ssociety.org.uk. It's all on the website. And all the young people or parents or carers or whatever have got to do is email that. They get an automatic reply saying, if you haven't used this before, fill out these forms, and then they'll get an email or a follow-up call to arrange to speak to one of my staff.
Oh, that's amazing. It's such a simple way to kind of be that support network almost. So I really like that. And also I really like the fact that you guys, sometimes I don't like a call out the blue. So it's quite nice that you have that step just beforehand, so that person can be like, yeah, I do want to speak to somebody. Well, we'll definitely be posting about that later. So as this year's theme is kindness, I want to ask you personally, how are you kind to yourself? I know you've got 2 kids. So how do you show them about being kind to themselves as well?
So in lockdown kind of made me, and probably made a lot of people, kind of really focus on what keeps us on a level, what keeps our own mental health good. So I try not to put too much pressure on myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming back to a lot of the people, feeling like they're in lockdown and they need to be doing as much as they think everyone else is doing. We can only do what we can do, especially if I spend all day in my bedroom kind of on video calls or what have you. So try not to put too much pressure on myself. And one thing, a really simple thing that I did, which has really helped, is I've taken everything work related off my personal mobile phone. So when it's turned off, there's nothing to do with work. I can't get contacted, and that's really helped. And actually, I'm on a bit of I'm social distancing from my own phone, my personal phone. When you go on holiday and you've got no Wi-Fi or whatever, and everyone comes back and goes, oh, that was wonderful. We couldn't contact anyone. No one could contact me. We can do that, especially when the news is negative. I felt like I had the news in my pocket all day. And so I'm consciously, it's driving my wife mad, but leaving my phone upstairs or in a different room, or just turning it off for the whole day. And actually, I feel better. I can always access the news. If I want to turn on BBC News app or watch the news or whatever, you can always find out what's going on. But I didn't feel like I needed it all the time. So that's kind of one practical thing that I've done. But also, I spend every morning after breakfast with a lovely lady called Cassandra. It's not weird. She's a yoga instructor on YouTube, and
I was like, oh no, should we pause this?
Yeah, I was really looking forward to saying that, to be honest. But it's brilliant. I have a lot of kind of headache and issues, which that's again been perpetuated by sitting at a laptop all day. So my family know that as soon as breakfast's over, I go and I do this half-hour yoga video with Cassandra, and that's really good physically. It's actually quite it's good mentally. It's just good practice to do something physical for yourself, but also it calms me. And then I get the boys dressed or what have you, and then I start my working day. So that's somehow I'm being kind to myself. Yeah,
it's just little things like for me, it's kind of allowing myself to, like you said, to turn off and like say no to people sometimes and be like, oh, can I call you tomorrow instead? And just watching some kind of a TV program, chilling, cooking myself a nice dinner. Like I've found myself spending a lot more time cooking dinner and actually enjoying a meal rather than just eating for fuel almost. But again, I'm going to shout about it. I read your blog, and there was a really cool idea that I thought that would be really good, especially for young people. And it reminded me of something that my mum used to do. So you guys have talked about a jolly jar and a peaceful pot. So the jolly jar or gratitude jar, which I know that my mum often has actually created for me and my friends. So it's basically whenever something good happens or fun, you write it on a scrap of paper and put it in a jar. And then a peaceful pot is for activities that kind of make you feel a bit more happy, ultimately when you're being kind to yourself. So when you're feeling anxious, you can pull it out. And I thought that's such a cute little idea, especially to do with young kids, really, because you can be as creative as you want. And I know that, like I said, my mum created one for me and my friends, and it was just like little compliments almost, like you're really, like your laugh is really funny and stuff like that, like quite nice things. So I will post a link to that later as well, because I'm just shouting about your blog, guys, which I'm sure is good. But if people here are like kind of thinking about more ways that they can kind of help people a bit more, then I know that we've got loads and loads of resources on our website. So I will post a link to that. But before we all go, I just want to thank you so much for spending some time talking to me, chatting to me. I know we've had loads of people messaging. I think you've got a few family members who have been watching.
Yeah, hello to my mum. Hello, Liz. I'm not sure if Dad's watching as well. If he is, hello, Nigel.
And then you've got there's Jenny and Andrew Guard watching.
Oh, my brother and sister. Oh, hi guys. And in America, so it's probably quite early for him. Yeah, thanks for getting up, mate. Appreciate it.
Oh, well, like I've said before, this is kind of recorded. It is recorded. So I will reshare about it, and anybody who's watching, you can share it to people. Maybe you think other people would find it useful. But before we go, I just want to remind everyone to be kind to yourself. And I want to continue hearing about when you've witnessed kindness. And I'm going to leave you with a 60-second clip that I think is really, really cool. It's created by some young people when they talk about how when they're low and stressed. So hopefully that clip will be showing soon. But yeah, I'd just like to say thank you on behalf of everyone, Dave. Thank you for joining us. And I look forward to hearing more about like Beam, just in general, later on.
Anytime.
Perfect.
What do you guys do when you're feeling low or stressed or anxious?
I dance or sing.
What music? Music is everything. And baking and cooking.
If I'm feeling bad, it's okay. I can let that energy out in my netball match or at training, because you can express your.
It's about release.
Not on your teammates though.
And I feel like even your own, like your bedroom as well, because that's the place that is your space. So I feel like the more you have positive stuff, like got a picture of on stage on my board. I'm gonna have to show you guys.
Yeah, mood board. That is brilliant.
I like that.
It changes your mind.
If you can see the things that you enjoy doing, it's a motivator, because you want to be able to do what you have to do so you can do that.
To get to that point.